Hi, my name's John. A year ago, I'd never even heard of Fruits Basket. That is until my girlfriend introduced the anime to me.
And I'm Allie. I've been reading the manga since I was in 3rd grade.
We loved watching season 1 together so much, and we'd have all these crazy long discussions about what happened in each episode.
And for season 2, we thought it would be really fun to share our conversations with you.
So join us today as we talk about season 2, episode 14, I Should Just Die. So if you're a returning listener, then welcome back. If you're a new listener, then we're happy to have you on this week's episode of our Fruits Basket podcast. So if you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it coming from this channel, then make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And share it with all of your friends wherever you share things, whether that's on Twitter, Discord, Reddit, or anywhere else. But with all that out of the way, where are we starting?
Okay, we are starting out. It is the second core now. We're jumping right in to this second part of season 2, which is so crazy because I feel like it just started yesterday. But with the second core comes a new opening and a new ending, which I think both were phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Oh my, that opening, so I couldn't find a whole lot of stuff that's super symbolic, at least that I could pick out.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, it was so pretty.
It was beautiful. They outdid themselves. It was gorgeous.
The animation in that opening, paired with the song, it made me feel things.
Yeah, and the lighting design. Just gorgeous.
I really liked the last opening. It was really fun and bubbly, and it had a lot of stuff that alludes to later in the season. But this one was just, I don't know, it really showcased all the characters in a really fun, nice way, and I thought it was so dope.
Yeah. When people think of Fruits Basket, some people think of the comedy of the 2001 version, and some people think of romance, like we see with Haru and Rin a little bit later in this episode. And I think of literally this opening. This is the best way that I could visualize Fruits Basket. It's just all of the characters coming together, having relationships like our Mabudachi trio, or Hiro and Kisa being adorable, and just and our trio, our main three, just looking over from where they always walk back from school. Mm-hmm. It's just so Fruits Basket. It was the most Fruits Basket opening that we have had, in my opinion.
And we see the characters who are more isolated being isolated, like Rin being out in that field all by herself, and Kureno being in that dark, shaded area on those steps, which is a much more cold environment than everyone else was in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Some little moments that I do have to call out, because I found them to be important, were when they showed Kyo and Yuki, and they're kind of back to back.
Yeah.
And they're little babies. And then also when they
And they're looking at each other in a way.
Yeah. And then also when they show Yuki put the hat on Tohru, and then immediately after that you see Kyoko bumping
and
Kyoko.
Kyo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A man's promise. I couldn't keep it.
Do you know what that scene with Kyo and Yuki kind of reminded me of?
What?
So in Naruto.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
So Naruto and Sasuke hate each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as kids, they would always constantly be comparing themselves to each other. Mm-hmm. They'd see each other doing stuff and walking by each other, and they'd want to be friends, but neither of them would admit that. So they just kind of formed that rivalry type of deal.
Ooh, okay. Spicy,
So
I like it.
I almost feel like that's the exact same thing with Kyo and Yuki. As small children, they wanted to be friends, but they were taught that they should hate each other.
Whoa.
And so that's just so inbred into them, like the situation with Naruto and Sasuke, where they just hated each other. Even though their situations were so similar that they could have been great supports for each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of why now that I made that connection from this opening, that's kind of how I see the dynamic between Kyo and Yuki. They could lift each other up so hard, and I guess we're kind of starting to see that from Yuki to Kyo a little bit.
Yeah.
But as children, they never could, even though maybe they wanted to.
Okay. I like these theories. They're so good. Okay. I know that a lot of you guys are here because you want to hear my opinions on all of the flower symbolism in the ending. So, lucky for you, there was so much of it that we put it in another episode.
Which should already be up on this channel right now. So if you didn't see that, go check that out.
But let's talk about this episode now that we're past the beautiful opening.
So we start out with Tohru on the phone. Turns out Grandpa threw out his hip, right?
Yeah. Or in the manga, I think it's his back. So if I slip up and say back, sorry.
But, or maybe it was his back. Something's not right. Something's helter-skelter. And she's talking to her aunt, and the parent-teacher conference comes back up. So, I didn't even think about it. That's quickly approaching.
Yes, it is. That was going to happen right after summer break, and look at the time. That's where we are. So, yeah.
And I thought it was so, it's not exactly a selfless intent. It's not really for Tohru that Shigure is going. But I thought that was so nice that she didn't have to deal with her, witch of an aunt.
Yeah, he stepped right in. He's like, this is my job now. Partly because, Tohru's such a sweet cinnamon bun. But also because, I get to mess with Mayu. I get to see her face.
Which, that means more Mayu soon.
Yes.
More Mayu Shigure action.
Shigure's gonna be like, how'd that date with Hatsuri go, you know?
Ooh, I wonder if they've been on more dates since.
I mean,
I need this. I need this content.
You can assume. Okay. But yeah, poor Mayu. And Yuki's given Shigure a hard lip. Yuki is just being so sassy with him because he knows that Shigure is up to stuff.
There are a lot of really good, just small, blink and you'll miss it Yuki moments throughout this episode.
Yeah, he has so much personality.
Because, so just a second after that happens, Kyo walks through the door and kind of is dismissive about all of them and just walks by. And Yuki gives him the most, just dude, kind of look. Because I feel like he realizes that Tohru's worrying about Kyo. And Yuki cares a lot about Tohru, but we've already established, he's the biggest Kyoru shipper there is at this point.
Yeah.
And he's just dude, stop being the worst. Can you not?
Yeah, the way
There's just a distinct look there.
The way that I interpreted this scene was, okay, so Kyo walks in. He's like, why are you guys all here? They answer. Tohru got a call from Grandpa. There you go. So Tohru, Kyo knows, will be upset. He gives her a look. And you almost, I think you do see Tohru from Kyo's perspective. And he's just watching her, seeing her smile and knowing that it's fake. And because she does that all the time. He's called her out plenty of times for it. Then he gets all grumpy because he's like, crap, Tohru's playing this again. And I hate it when she does this. But I can't call her out now because she's in front of everyone. So I'm going to bed. Because he's been grumpy ever since the whole Kagura thing, which they mention later. And when Kyo just ditches, Yuki's like, really? Really, Kyo? Tohru's upset.
Yes.
You're not going to do anything right now? Are you for real? You won't walk her home? You aren't helping her right now? You aren't saying anything about her grandpa? What is up with you? Because they both deal with Tohru in such entirely different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yuki's just so done with Kyo.
He's like, flirt properly. I've never seen anyone kiss in front of me in my life, but I know about flirting, I'm pretty sure.
But he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
So then I love any scene that Haru's in, so this episode was just fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
But he was playing freaking, essentially, Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah.
On a Switch.
The boy's got a PlayStation. He's been playing Final Fantasy. And now he has a Switch. And he's playing Mario Kart. Haru, confirmed gamer.
He is wonderful. He's funny. He's just best boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's considerate. He looks out for our boy Yuki, who needs someone to look out for his poor self.
He's super hot. I mean, what?
What?
But one thing I do have to call out in this scene that I am grump about is that Momiji is short. And Momiji is not short in the manga anymore. He's Tohru's height. He's supposed to grow. Yeah. He's supposed to grow.
I guess growth does happen in high school, so that would make sense.
He got watered at the beach. He grows like a little weed. Kyo grew.
But
Yuki grew. Why did Momiji not grow? I'm grump.
I feel like that's just something that, I don't know, would be jarring. It wouldn't be jarring, though.
No, because they literally mentioned, what was that, last episode or something?
They never let people actually grow in animes, though.
No, but they let Kyo grow. He grew, and they called it out. And Uotani was like, you grew, grr.
Did he actually grow? Like, if you looked at, like, the character sizes.
I don't know, maybe.
I feel like the artist, like, get into his own.
I don't know. I'm still grumpy about Momiji, though. I'm grump, and I'm allowed to be grump.
I think that's perfectly fair. I think that's perfectly fair.
But he is a little air purifier, and I have desperately tried not to use that phrasing when referring to him in all of these past episodes because I wanted to wait for this moment, so I'm happy it finally happened.
It's the most accurate depiction of Momiji. Just a little air purifier.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so they start walking away to go get some beverages.
Yes.
And Haru starts thinking about Rin and what she meant, and that she probably meant what she said. But then, okay.
Go ahead.
I think a big moment happens here.
I know.
And so they're just like chatting it up, whatever, talking about Haru's love life. And then, wouldn't you know it, who from the student council pops in? Oh, wow, it's Machi. Now, if you're a new listener, I ship Yuki and Machi very hard.
Why? I need reasoning, because you haven't given me, like solid reasoning.
Okay, I have more reasoning now.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure it's good reasoning.
I'll take whatever.
Well, first off, their character models, I feel like, would look cute together. So that's one.
Good reasoning. Okay, what else?
Okay. Two, that I think that they're in love is because this is my actual reason, I guess, but because in this episode, which is very much talking about how Yuki is developing relationships, right? He starts questioning how he actually feels when he has that conversation with Kagura, when he sees how fervent she is about love and all of that for Kyo, and how he knows that Kyo feels that way for Tohru. And he's like, I don't really feel that way. How can you be so certain, right? So I think that it's Machi that he will eventually feel that for, because what an odd little addition. Like, it was very unnecessary to have that little scene. Like, it brought up the student council and how he's becoming more independent. But why Machi? Why not Kagura? Why not now? Why not Kimi? There's something going on with Machi, and I feel like she's going to have a bigger role. And it just seems too convenient that she was slotted into a spot where they were already talking about romance in an episode where Yuki sees his first kiss, I guess. He was really shook.
He was like, so you don't go for the forehead?
He was like, Haru, stop, you're gonna eat her.
Can she breathe?
You're gonna die.
He drops his bag. Oh my god. Okay, wait.
He was just very shook by that.
It was so precious.
And so that's the only real reason why I think that this could be the case.
I'll add one. You want another?
Yeah,
I'll even give you one. Okay.
Give it to me.
Yuki has quite an issue with getting close to people. And
yes.
He's very hesitant.
He said her first name.
Yes. That's where I was going with this. He's very hesitant to refer to people by their first names. So he didn't call Kimi by her first name. She had to beg for it. And then she wanted, and also Kagura wanted, Yuki to refer to Machi by her first name. And he follows through. And he continues to do it. Yeah. He does not stutter. He doesn't hesitate. He's just like, oh, Machi. Hi.
So, I don't know. Maybe this is just a big conspiracy theory and everyone's like, okay.
I appreciate your shipping. It can't just be Kyoru all the time, you know? Yuki's gotta find love.
Yuchi.
Okay.
That was a very long tangent.
I do have to call out that Hatsuharu mentions that he's in class with Machi, which means that she saw him go dark. And I think that's hilarious. That she was just in class like, what? What is this guy doing?
These Soma boys are just, what?
And then she sees Yuki and she's like, what?
No, she's like,
Mr. President?
Mr. President, I love you.
Yep, that's it.
They're married.
They're married. They have kids. It's great.
They have kids. They have 3 children.
Mm-hmm. How many does Kyo have?
Kyo and Tohru only have 2.
They only have 2? Why?
Because Kyo was very excited to get his tubes tied.
He is diligent.
he was very overzealous about that.
Oh my god. Okay.
There were regrets 10 years into their marriage, but, you know, the deed was done.
Kyo he does like to get things out of the way very quickly. He likes to make sure things are tidy and ordered. Oh my god. Okay, we're moving
prompt.
Very prompt. Okay. Anyways, Yuki. He has to go... Oh my god. He has to go get a paper signed by his mom or something. And so then he goes to the estate, which, you know, props to him. He didn't have a panic attack. They got that better.
Good Soma money, too.
Oh my gosh, they do.
Like, he was rich.
Yeah. You have 2 kids that are Zodiac members? Yeah, you get that money.
So that happened. He dropped off the slip. I hate that we'll have to see him interact with his parents at this parent-teacher conference, I'm sure.
Yeah. We'll see.
And then he walks out and he talks with Kagura and he brings up that Kyo's been acting strange and she seems to genuinely feel guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this conversation.
Yeah.
I just think that I don't know how to describe it. I really appreciate the Yuki Kagura conversations throughout the series because you got one after the Kyo like true form arc, right when she's about to leave in the morning and she doesn't say bye to anyone. Yuki is there, and they get these little moments where he gets insight to what's going on with her, and then therefore he gets insight into Kyo because Kyo's not going to tell him crap. So, but he just gets to like figure things out, and he's like playing a little detective trying to figure out what all the relationships are in the family and what's going on. So I love when he's like sneaking around like, where's Rin? Can I go to your house? Can I see her? Does she go to school? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with Kyo? What's going on? I love it. And Kagura does say something really interesting. She says, having feelings for someone is so illogical. Once you start liking someone, it's over.
Yeah. So. And I kind of touched on this a second earlier, but if the nail in the coffin for the Yuki Tohru thing wasn't already sealed, I think this officially like nails that coffin in, because as he's walking, it just doesn't quite make sense to him. He can't wrap his mind around romantic love in that way. It just doesn't compute.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's thinking about his relationship with Tohru and saying, well, if it's not that, what is it? Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, and he basically says that he's envious of Kagura because she is so certain of what that feeling is. So I have to call back to season 1 when Kagura is talking about how much she loves Kyo, Tohru had said, I'm envious that she knows, basically. She's saying pretty much the same thing. She's like, I'm jealous that Kagura can be so in love.
Mm.
So Yuki and Tohru kind of have this main character, I don't really know how to explore romantic feelings thing going on right now, where they're both kind of jealous of Kagura for being so certain about love. And, you know, do with that what you will.
It's just like what we talked about before with intimacy versus isolation, because this is such a formative time for them to be developing those intimate relationships with people who aren't in their direct family. And so those romantic relationships or those really profound friendships, that it kind of makes sense that this is when he's learning to experience this. And he's never even had a basis for that really growing up, because he was locked in that dark room. He's so used to that isolation piece, that loneliness, that darkness. He wouldn't even see people. We saw at the very beginning of the episode that he wouldn't even see people unless they snuck in to meet with him and chat with him, with Haru and Rin.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're really digging into that piece of Yuki in this episode.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? Going with that little clip we get in the beginning, Yuki runs into Rin when he's walking up to his house, and he furthers that conversation that he remembered at the beginning of the episode. And Rin, just like you had thought before, has always been trying to protect Haru.
Oh, I gave myself a big pat on the back for that one.
Yeah, so she stood as a little, like, watch guard kind of figure.
A watch horse.
A watch horse. To make sure that people wouldn't come in and bust them.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll never take credit for it, but yeah.
Which I thought was really cool, because she would be so casual about it, so not to alert either of them, but she would hear the footsteps or whatever it was and say, I'm not interested in this anymore. I'm leaving. And then Haru would follow her out. And then instantly, whoever that was, Yuki's mom, ? I
think so.
Would pop in and check on him. And Haru just gets better and better.
What do you mean by that? Because he would check in on Yuki?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's not Dark Haru, he's so level-headed and just so thoughtful of others. And he's able to figure out this is what's kind of best for them. We see that he felt so bad for Yuki, someone that he hated as a child, that he went to Shigure and begged him to take Yuki in. Which, that answers the question you asked me a while ago, why Haru calls Shigure sensei, and we get that answer here. And that was super interesting.
Yeah.
And super Shigure.
Very Shigure of him. And I like that they call back to that at the end, where Hatsuharu is like, do I need to call you honey now so you'll tell me why Rin was here?
Yeah.
Moving from sensei to honey. Like, I love that this is now a joke. Now that we know.
What I want to know, though, is why did Shigure take Yuki in?
I mean, it could be a Shigure scheme.
It could, I'm sure it has to be. I doubt he'd just do it out of the goodness of his heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because there has to be some chess piece in motion. I don't know. He took in Kyo, too, so maybe it was specifically to get them to start getting along. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the scheme, to try and get them to like each other.
It is a little sus that Shigure took Yuki in, and Shigure also happens to be BFFs with Yuki's older brother, Ayame, who desperately wants to rekindle a relationship with his younger brother. And also, their friend, Mayu, is his homeroom teacher and will be for his duration of high school. So it might be that they all have eyes on him. Whereas before, no one had eyes on him because he was just in that dark room. So that's my theory.
But they're not collaborating. Mayu hadn't heard from either Hatori or... Well, she'd heard from IMA. She seems to still be really on good terms with IMA. And so I could see that, but she didn't seem to have talked to Shigure or Hatori for a very long time. So I don't know about that one. But
it's just a theory. But I don't know. That's my theory. Whatever.
Your game theory.
Jeez. Okay. Let's go to the Rin Hatsuharu moment. Because boy, was that a moment. They full mouth to mouth. Yeah.
Yo, he was eating her. And not only that, but it was kind of a precious moment because he totally used that line for the title was such a fake out to see how she really felt about him. Like, he got her hook, line, and sinker. And then the kiss happened. And then there was that little flashback. So, like, is that confirmed that they do the nasty?
Sauced
as one would say.
I mean, you could infer that based on how droopy her little straps are, and you know, Hatsuharu really doesn't like buttoning his shirts, so that could mean anything.
True. I'm going to infer that though.
Yeah. I would too.
And so after that whole conversation, Rin slaps Haru, and I think he takes solace in that moment, realizing that he has to protect Rin, and I think he realizes that she's protecting him now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that gave him almost closure, but also hope at the same time. At least that's how I read it.
And it is kind of cute that Yuki was trying to look out for Hatsuharu too. And he's like, don't worry about Rin. That's my thing. Stop trying to worry about her. Don't stop. Worry about your student council stuff. Because
he knows Yuki will, especially with the knowledge Yuki has now, will do anything to help out Hatsuharu.
Yeah.
He even knows that from Yuki visiting him at the estate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so him saying that you're weak and kind and calling back to that IMA moment was just, I don't know.
It was precious.
So nice.
I do have to call out something with that. So Yuki got called out for like being weak and kind, and he has such a hard time making himself a priority. Tohru also gets called out later in the episode in a more teasy, flirty kind of way of being like small, thin, puny, and she's not taking care of herself. She's not making herself a priority. So both Yuki and Tohru, I saw this somewhere. I think Takaya had mentioned it, that Tohru is a main character, obviously. But Yuki is also kind of a main character, especially at this point in the story, where he kind of branches off gets his student council thing. And they both have their own little side character, like their sidekick.
Their own cast.
Mm-hmm. And so Yuki gets his
I've totally been getting that.
Yeah. He gets his student council group. He has Hatsuharu as his right-hand man. Tohru has her best friends, Uotani and Hanajima. She also has Momiji constantly backing her up. Tohru has a love interest.
Kyo.
Yes. Kyo, love interest. And Yuki, like potential love interest.
Yeah. Yuki has Haru and the student council and his wife, Machi. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to be so embarrassed. So after all that happens, we see Rin in the woods sitting by herself, and we see that big old scar on her back. And full disclosure, I did watch the season 2 trailer, and all of my suspicions were confirmed in that trailer about Rin and Akito.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Time out. Backpedal. So we see Rin sitting alone in the forest, and there's a big old scar on her back. So if you have not watched the new season 2 trailer, skip like 5 minutes ahead, because I'm going to be talking a little bit about stuff because I did watch it, and so that gave me a little bit of insight. So if you really don't want any spoilers, don't listen to this part, okay? So, all of my suspicions about Akito and Rin were 110% confirmed there.
Mm-hmm.
Because Akito pushes her out the window, she starts bleeding out of that shoulder, which is also the shoulder that had bandages around it, right? Or maybe just her ribs had bandages around it. But that area in particular was bandaged while she was in the hospital very recently. So either this is a recurring thing, or Akito just yeeted her out the window and she got severely damaged after she said something about her and Haru to Akito, or Akito figured it out.
Yeah.
So I feel very justified and vindicated now.
And to all of you who might get a little bit grumpy that I let John watch the trailer, I only let him watch it because everything that was revealed were things that he already theorized. If he didn't already put those pieces together, then I wouldn't have let him watch it. But none of that was really too much of a surprise for him. He was like, oh yeah, oh whoa, I got that. Oh, I got that right. Whoa. You know?
Yeah, there was nothing really in the trailer that really sent me for a loop that I can remember. Or even I really questioned. Like, there are things I don't know how they slot in, but all of it felt pretty straightforward.
Yes. Okay. And they don't show, like, in that trailer, they don't show, like, the end, you know? Just like they didn't show the true form stuff too much. They had, like, a separate trailer for that little bit, I think. They don't show too much of, like, the ending of season 2, or they don't even go there. So it's not like you got super spoiled or anything. No worries.
Yeah.
But, okay. So that's everything with Rin. How do you feel about her, actually? Like, because before you thought she was a mystery and you didn't even know how to talk about her. But are you feeling a little bit more confident now?
This sounds awful. I'm so indifferent on her. Like, she's interesting, I guess. But I don't have any attachment to her, really. Her motivations are pretty clear. She wants to break the curse. And she's trying to protect Haru. And that's kind of her modus operandi right now.
That's too one note for Fruits Basket, so I'm sure you'll learn more.
Yeah, like, I'm sure that there's more, but I still don't really know how to talk about her that much.
That is okay.
I'm sure she has to have experienced some. Do we know if she experienced trauma in her childhood? What's her family life like?
I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out one day, considering they talk about everybody else's parents. But she doesn't live with her parents. She lives with Kagura's, so...
I'll just assume that they were the worst. I think that's a safe assumption. In this show.
But now we get to my favorite part of the episode, which is Tohru, her grandpa, and Kyo.
Yes. So she's just kind of chilling, chatting with her grandpa. He's laying there, chilling with a cat, living the dream. Not really, because he's in immense pain. Yeah. But he did have a dream that he said he would like to live in. See that segue there. And he was talking about her dad, Katsuya, and Kyoko, and he shared how he didn't really get along that well with Katsuya, and Kyoko tended to act as the mediator between the two of them, which they keep bringing up her dad, and they keep refusing to show his face. So he has to be important. That is the law of anime. And he talked about wanting to be with them again. Or what was the actual quote?
I want to go see them even if it's as ghosts. I'm just remembering off the top of my head. But he keeps reiterating that he wants to go see them. And that is apparently like a trigger phrase for Tohru because she remembers when her
that
mom
her
had
mom
said, I want to
and
go
so
see him.
that tells me that her mom was when she was little, because that's when they show Tohru hearing this. That says that Kyoko was suicidal when Tohru was little, and little Tohru actively knew that.
Mm-hmm.
That is heart-wrenching.
Yeah. It hurts.
So she was afraid that her mom, every day, probably until her mom actually died, that her mom just wouldn't come back because she took her own life. Which, this opened my eyes to a lot of different things, because Tohru beats herself up over the one time that she didn't say goodbye to her mom in the morning, and that's the day she died.
Mm-hmm.
Because she said goodbye or whatnot every morning because she was scared that her mother would die. This is literally her worst fear realized, right? Like, am I right on that?
Yeah, she says, please don't say such things. I'll do anything. I'll say anything. Don't take away mom too.
So I wonder, what is Tohru actually like this? Like, is this her actual personality? This high energy, very peppy, happy. Obviously, we know she uses it as a defense and a facade to keep people around her happy. Did this develop because of her mom? Did she do it to try and keep her mom happy so she wouldn't kill herself?
Stop, I'm crying. Oh no.
Like, what happens when this shatters? Mm-hmm. Like, we see her unravel bit by bit here and there. But, like, what happens when it's torn away? That rug's gonna be pulled out at some point, right?
Maybe.
I feel like it has to. Otherwise, that's a darn shame.
I'm not telling you yes or no. That's a spoiler.
Well, that's true. Something that I saw that I thought was really funny is the cat got up and started walking away. And I was like, ooh, Kyo's coming. The cat feels him.
Oh, yeah. And you see so many shots of Kyo throughout the episode just, like, pining.
Yes!
Just, like, looking at Tohru like, I know she's upset about her grandpa. Oh, man. And then he's walking home and he's like, should I take Yuki's advice? Should I walk her home? Is that what I'm doing? Yeah. And then he gets there, and she's sad and collapsed on the ground.
Which we need to talk about this camera shot.
Oh my gosh, the camera work.
I don't want to say this definitively, but this is kind of the impression I got, and this could be completely 1000% wrong because I don't have definitive proof. Mm-hmm. But the way the camera was kind of positioned and how it was kind of working is it was separating Tohru from the environment because we were seeing it out of her perspective. Mm-hmm. And first we saw her feet and then just the camera rocking back and forth. And it almost seemed like potentially they could have been going for that she was so in a panic that she started dissociating. Mm-hmm. Just completely removing herself from the environment around her. And it was kind of disturbing that she was so profoundly triggered by just her grandfather's, not just, but by her grandfather saying that.
Yeah.
Because whether or not it was dissociation or just an extreme panic, whew.
I know that when you lose someone, you grieve for a long period of time.
Yes.
I totally...
Yeah,
like, it
100%.
happens to quite a number of people. But it's been over a year, and Tohru, upon hearing such a small phrase, is so intensely triggered that even if she wasn't dissociating, that's a little bit past grief for me. I don't think I would collapse in the street. Or at least it wouldn't be common for you to collapse in a street upon thinking about your mom passing away. So there's a lot of, and she mentions it, there's a lot of things that she had locked away that she hasn't dealt with yet.
Yeah, I think it's very much, the grief process is one that can take a lot longer than a year. It depends, it differs from person to person. But, and this could still potentially be part of the grief process, but it almost feels like it's combining with something else that she's very much internalized that's finally starting to bubble up. We know that just in general, there's a lot of late onset stuff that could happen after a trauma occurs, that while it's not there immediately, it can bubble up in the future. So maybe that's happened. Obviously, I don't know enough. I don't want to say anything definitively, but I feel like that could be happening here. Is that this stuff is finally breaching the surface, and she's gonna have a really tough time moving forward pretty soon.
But then Kyo shows up, and he teases with her. He makes little jokes about her being so puny, and he's just there to make sure that she gets cheered up. But I love when she asks, like, don't you have to go somewhere? Why are you here? Because Kyo's never really walked her home like that. And why would he come look for her? That's weird for her. Why would she think that he would do that? But he did. Because Kyo loves her. And he knew that she'd be distressed. And it hurts my heart. He came for his wife. He came for his wife. So then, we end the episode. Kyo and Tohru walk back. They meet up with Yuki at the house. Haru is messing around with Shigure, trying to get that info about Rin. But
being very Haru and Shigure.
Oh, yeah. I love that one of the last scenes we see is Yuki's messy room.
Yes.
But speaking of Yuki, next episode, it's him saying it. See you later. I don't know how much you can get from that, but if you want to riff off that.
That's so nothing. That is such a nothing. But do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, we have talked long enough.
But that would do it for today's podcast, guys. And so, if you have any questions for me about, or any theories that I have, then leave those in the comment section down below. Or if you have any questions or comments for Allie, make sure to leave those down there too. Just make sure that they have a spoiler tag if there are spoilers from the manga. And if you like this, you want to see more of this kind of content coming from this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And why not even share with all of your friends on Twitter, Discord, Reddit, wherever you might share things. WhatsApp. That's something hip and cool the kids are doing these days. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And we will see you in the next video. Later.
See ya.